yummy, 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 yummy you. The only slice I truly like costs more than a buck or two. Truly like costs more than a buck or two.
The hell are you doing to me? A curse?
You performing a seance or some shit?
Mexican voodoo woman? All right, everyone. We are.
I wanted the viewers to see exactly how high your hair goes.
Oh.
It's good camera quality. They could see.
Well, we're back, everybody, to 9/11 is Gay, the information show. Thank you for coming. So our topic of the day today is going to be an exciting one. We got a returning guest for the first time. CIA Agent Bill Brennan is coming back on the show.
Ex-CIA agent.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people that say there is no such thing as ex-CIA agents, too.
Ooh.
Some people say that.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that, but some people do.
There is no ex-CIA. So yeah, that's going to be exciting. He's going to be talking about the Baltimore Bridge collapse. He has some inside info about the Republicans being behind it. Ooh. Didn't see that coming. You all thought it was DEI liberals. So we'll talk to him coming up later. But to start off the show here, we're joined by this Mexican bitch,
Tony!
Giselle Montenegro.
We're gonna,
Now I am putting a curse on you.
Tony, first off, she's not Mexican, and secondly, she's not a bitch, okay?
And we are also joined
As his
by...
lawyer, aren't you supposed to say something about him talking like that to women?
I just did.
And
I just said you're not speaking truth. If it was true, then legally he can say it.
Well, if you're giving legal advice, we got to play this.
All right.
Now give
My
your
legal advice is over. Done.
We're joined by Dirk Dinkman, the Jewish
What's up?
bitch.
What's up? Well, no, it's true. So he could say it.
We got a great show ahead of us today, don't we? Giselle is celebrating an anniversary. She's been sober from Ambien for 2 hours now.
Technically, it wouldn't be an anniversary. But.
It's a 2-hour anniversary of her sobriety.
Well, Annie means year. It's Latin derived.
sucker.
So.
You want to say that again?
No, I don't.
So we're all applauding her on that. The bad news is because of that, she hasn't had any Ambien, so she hasn't been tweeting. So unfortunately, we're not going to do our cross-examination of her Twitter account today. How do you feel about that?
Great.
But since you were good this week and you didn't embarrass us on social media with these racist, tasteless tweets, we got a new sponsor for you. So usually we drink from our sponsor, Adrenochrome.
Still going to be doing that?
The baby skulls. Yeah, we still will. But for Giselle, we got our own sponsor, Giselle Montenegro liqueur.
Ah.
Wait, hold that up. It might be in front of the lamp there. Yeah, there you go.
Because Giselle, as you know, her surname is Montenegro, right?
As we know. Albanian.
So we got this cool liqueur. Instead of drinking baby skulls, we're going to drink Giselle today.
Oh, okay.
And
Tony, you're on thin ice today, man. You gotta...
later on in the show...
Yeah, someone has their period. Is that why you're hiding your eyes?
Yeah, my eyes get dilated when I have my period because blood's just rushing out of every orifice of mine. So my eyes get really bloodshot.
Is this your outfit for the devil comment? You've got your devil glasses on and your devil vibes.
So, can we talk about that? What is going on Monday? Like, there's a comet too. They're calling it Devil's Comet. Is
yeah.
this like,
Well, its technical name is like 112 OPP something.
Okay, Mrs. Scientist over there, take it easy.
You could look it up.
I do have the means to look that up.
You can.
I'd rather hear what you have to say, though.
Have you changed your eyebrows since the last episode?
Why do you say that?
Probably because of the Dirk
Because of
fan
the
art. He
fan
got
art.
self-conscious about his eyebrows.
Yeah.
Did you?
I'm growing them out a little bit. Yeah. Wait, why? What's the difference?
They look a little
That
different.
I have eyebrows now as opposed to not having eyebrows before?
Did you ever wax your eyebrows?
No.
Have you? Oh, you have lack of.
Yeah, I can't even see him to begin with.
Well, no one can tell because you have your devil eyeglasses on.
God waxed my eyebrows.
Sinister.
What, I look cool and badass?
Well, you're just being a little rude while you have sunglasses on.
Yeah, you think you're cool and shit, but you're not.
Yeah, well, what else were we going to talk about today?
Well, yeah, I was asking about the Devil's
I don't
Comet.
have
Yeah, the
any
Devil's
like.
Comet.
Well, but
I
I don't know
have any
anything about it.
scientific information.
I'm not asking a
Okay.
scientist. I'm asking
Can
Giselle.
Dirk look up
Okay.
when we're going to see it? I glanced at an article that said it's actually like bigger and brighter than anticipated, and it is also. Do you know what color it is?
No, I don't know anything
I'm
about
just
it.
guess. Okay, out of all the colors, what color do you think
Red.
the devil comet is? No,
Purple,
no,
green.
yes.
I'm a genius.
I would love to know why are all comets green? Not all
Wait,
of them. The last one
really?
that there was another green
Sounds
comet.
like comets need DEI.
I don't get it.
She said they're all one color. We embrace many colors on this show.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
right?
That's clever.
No?
No, we do. We know. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
Uh-oh.
Wait, are they
well,
really?
it depends. How did I get added into the show?
Yes, by DEI.
You were trying to fill a hole.
Yes. I still am.
Don't.
Like an a-hole?
You just set. Yeah, you just set him up for that. Oh, the untroubled sleep.
You're trying to get your hole filled?
Yeah, because
you
I'm
should
wearing our new merch, Obama I'm gay shirts.
You should talk to our friend who phoned in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which one was that? Oh, was that Steve?
Oh, Steve. Yeah.
Yeah, because my advice was to have a sexual experience
With
a sphincter that he looked at. So you actually could have participated.
Now, so you're saying are comets really usually green?
I don't remember the
I
name
didn't
of the
know that.
last one. It was also a green comet.
That's crazy.
But
wonder
this
why that
comet
is.
is supposed to be helping us transform into a new version of ourselves.
That's nice. Mm-hmm. Is it? But is it a better version? 'Cause
Yes,
you said
always.
yeah,
this time,
always?
yes. Well,
Always.
yes. Okay, not always.
Come on.
This is super positive.
Yeah, this is like
Except
way
for
too
Tony.
optimistic for me. So you're a new
This-
version. It could. I mean, Devil's Comet. I mean, that could be.
Did you pour this?
yeah.
It stinks.
What does it smell like?
That's your stuff. Don't slander our sponsor.
I do smell like bleach.
Wait, is that? Sorry to interrupt, but you know how what's her name?
Giselle?
No. The one who did the candle that smells like her vagina.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Gwyneth Paltrow. Is that like the equivalent? Is that like what this is?
Ew.
Is that what it smells like?
No.
I'm sorry.
What
it's,
does it smell like?
I said it smelled strong.
This is crass. This is like Howard Stern.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
We're not a crass show.
No. You, okay.
Well, you came in all horned up today.
What?
His devil horn.
All right. So what's next on the chopping block?
Well, I think one of the
So we'll see everybody on the other side after this comes out.
Yeah, we'll see if it's a good new change or a bad one.
Well, one of the interesting things is that gave me an idea for a future episode. Is the eclipse that's happening Monday coincides with CERN doing a hadron
Yes,
collider
that too.
particle test. So now a lot of people are saying that evil's afoot.
Well, you got three
Yes.
crazy things in one day. That's
Wait, 3? Oh, the
the
comet.
comet.
CERN,
That's
the
what I'm saying.
comet.
Yeah, shit, the devil comet.
yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm fucking talking about.
Oh, and I was letting Dirk know because I think he was very concerned.
Yeah.
USA Today confirmed that CERN is not opening up a portal to hell.
Oh, well, that's good. I was a little concerned about that. It's good to.
He was stressing out.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
good
that's
they
why
settled
he
that.
grew his eyebrows out.
Well, that's why next episode I think we should do it on the eclipse, comet, and CERN. Right?
Tony horned up 2.0.
Right, like after it happens, we should talk about
If we
what
make
happened.
it.
Yeah, if we
If
could
we
not
make
make it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're Mr. Optimist over there.
I know. I'm just playing off of someone
yeah.
who came in all.
Senora
Hold up.
optimist.
All right.
But the problem is that Giselle has zero interest in the bridge episodes. That's why I want to do one that she cares about next
We have to do. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
we're going to talk about Madonna today, right?
No,
No.
she didn't even look up Madonna.
What?
The
Is
eclipse
everything
energy
is
really,
everything okay?
really put her down.
Should we talk if you're like doing all right? You don't even want to talk about
this
Madonna?
eclipse energy has me all fucked up.
I mean, apparently you don't even want to talk about Madonna. I've never seen this side of you before.
The fans look forward to Madonna every week.
I think
Sure. It's my favorite
they'll
segment.
make it.
They'll be all right. Fans will be all right.
Speaking of fans, we have big news. We are,
Just
if you
got a
remember
fan
from a few
studio.
episodes ago,
Tony has his first stalker.
no, better. A few episodes ago, we found out we're actually not big in America, but we're big in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an update. We're back in Russia.
Putin loves us.
So, Dirk, pull up.
Russia won.
Is that the first tab? Yeah, pull up Russia 1. So, if you guys recall, a couple of weeks ago or episodes ago, a Russian channel covered our episode on the Jew tunnels, where they commented on our clip and translated it into Russian. And then I checked back in on that channel, and now they're covering us again.
No.
So you can see here, this is from their Telegram app, where, again, you can see they have a way bigger audience than us. Look at
Oh,
these.
because
Look,
you're talking to the dude on WhatsApp?
I'm not talking to him. I just stalked him because he's a big fan of us. So I'm watching him back
Giselle,
as
you
a
could-
courtesy.
You can translate, right? You're from like Eastern Europe, right? You could
Yeah. So this is from their Telegram app. So they, again, we're playing a video of us. This was from our episode where we covered Jeffrey Epstein's suicide. And look at these reactions. 163 fires. That's good. 24
What does the
thumbs up.
bottom say?
One person thumbs down us.
That's not bad.
But yeah, the text I put into Google.
163 fire.
That's pretty good. 100 comments.
10K views.
10,000 views.
Yeah.
I translated what they said here because I was curious what they said. And he said,
Oh, there we go.
the authors of the last video that I voiced noticed me. He's talking about us. They were surprised that I had more views, applauded, said thank you, ... and to Putin too.
Wait a minute. So this guy doesn't seem like
Disappointed
he likes
face.
Putin.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So what I was doing, I was scrolling through their comments.
Were you making friends or enemies?
I don't know anymore.
Well, I was scrolling through their comments. They're all in Russian. And so I was putting each comment through the translator to find out what they thought, and they all hate Putin.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought everyone in Russia loved Putin.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's because we applauded Putin because of the Russians airing our episode. And now they're pissed because we assumed they loved Putin. So pull up Russia 3. Here was another little thing I found on Telegram. They zoomed in
Oh my God.
on our forgiveness mug of Chauvin and George Floyd, where they forgive each other in the afterlife for Chauvin's knee-jerk reaction that he gave George Floyd.
68 laughs and 4
And look at this.
stars in his
They
eyes.
loved it. They zoomed in on the mug. 68 laughs. 4 with stars in their eye. They feel like they're starstruck looking at this. They love the mug in Russia.
Oh, it's making my feet sweat.
I still haven't put this up as merch to buy, but I should, because this is 68 or 72 potential purchases.
Dude, you want to quit your job? Put that on.
I know.
Sell for merch. You'll make it more than you ever made.
So then pull up Russia.
What if you could have it all?
Yeah, well, I was interested that what this comment says. I said, what are they saying about this Floyd mug?
Obviously loving it.
They said, don't they really think you're sitting on the Kremlin's rubles? Or are they just ziggers?
What, dude?
What's a zigger?
Hold on.
Yeah, I thought we were ziggas, but... well, yeah, Dirk, look up what zigger is, because I've never heard that term.
If that means old, I'm going to be pissed.
Oh, shit.
It seems like it's a term used towards pro-Ukrainians. It could be
Yeah, because look at what that guy said.
Nazi / Zigger. So it's probably Russians saying, like, it's a slang for Ukrainians, calling them this word. And it's kind of, I guess, kind of means like a fascist.
Yeah,
Because that's what it says here, like Ukrainian with fascist Nazis. So it's like a Russian slang or something.
because the context of the comment, go back to the translation where it said, do they really think we like Putin or are they just ziggers? Like, wouldn't that mean aren't they equating Putin to fascism?
Wait, no, it says, do they really think you're sitting on the... Oh, okay. So the comment is...
Rubles is their currency?
Yeah. Oh, so he's saying like, do they actually think you're being funded by Putin is essentially what they're saying. Or are they just...
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Jury's still out on what zigger means, but
Yeah,
Let's put the call out
yeah. Oh, yeah,
to
we
the
should
people.
to the Russians. Yeah, or our fans that are American. What does zigger mean? I'm not sure.
And if it's really bad, don't say anything. Oh, God. The devil has blood on his hands now.
Yo, can you pass me that Montenegro?
Stigmata.
He needs a claw.
I have stigmata.
Wait, what happened? You poked yourself?
He dropped his...
I'm mixing adrenochrome with Montenegro.
disgusting.
I don't want to touch. I don't
Oh
want to
my
touch
God,
that now.
your
You're bleeding all over
stomach.
the place.
No, it didn't go in the bottle.
Are you going to have diarrhea?
Who? Oh, him?
I'm not the Mexican one.
You did say you wanted to fill that hole.
Oh. All right, well, the good news is we're just getting even bigger in Russia.
Can we, if we're going to have a Russian segment, I think we need a Russian jam.
Yeah, you're right. Good call.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
We do need, yeah, I mean, it's official.
We do have a Russian segment, I guess.
Yeah, it's a segment now, so now we need the jingle to go along with it.
I got a good song in mind.
So I put out the call to our fans. We're doing our Giselle love line. Oh, Dirk found our potential Russian.
Someone calling?
Not yet, but I put out the call to our fans to call in for Giselle love line.
Now I'm going to be sad if they don't call.
If they need any love advice or life advice, call in throughout the show. The lines are open. Are these ziggers?
Oh,
No.
we shouldn't be saying it if we don't know what it is.
I think we have a good idea what it is now.
We'll
No,
find-
these are true Russians.
I'm way less threatened by Russia after seeing this if these are real Russians. Like, everyone's so afraid of Russia, and then this is what they're doing.
All the time, 24/7.
All right, well,
this is like the Russian ABBA or something.
yeah, really. All right, enough Russian jingles, because we have another
My
fan
new
art
pronouns
segment.
are Zer, Zigger. Please respect them.
Wait, is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh, fan art?
So we have a fan art segment.
Dude,
Only
this
one.
shit is disgusting.
See,
No,
I
it's
can
not good.
smell it
Dude, this
from
is
here.
nasty.
The
And he just
Montenegro is not
mixed
good.
it.
Oh my god.
He mixed it.
Yeah,
Are
it's
you
gross.
too worried?
Actually, it might be
You
better
can't-
actually because
It is.
yeah, this is
No, it
horrible.
sucks on its own.
I'm just saying, what if he died during the episode?
I mean, that would make sense because
Great.
this shit is nasty.
Really good views, if so. All right, well, our segment on fan art, we had one submission unsolicited. We did a contest last episode where we had a Dirk fan art contest, and our fans drew what they thought Dirk looked like.
Does he have eyebrows in this one?
No,
we'll find
because what
out.
this fan did was a remix.
Ooh.
Because Toasty won the Dirk fan art, so this fan remixed
Yeah.
Toasty's art
love you,
with his
Toasty.
own twist. So pull this up, Dirk. Look at this. So this was Toasty's award-winning Dirk interpretation, Tim Burton's style of Dirk. But this fan then added the burning Twin Towers behind him, and there's some fun Easter eggs on the bottom.
Wait, is this the guy who did the first?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Matt Fraser.
I could tell your work from a mile away, but this has your signature all
It
over.
really does.
Wait, Dirk has a purse?
Yeah, well, let's look at his shirt first. So his shirt is Urban Moving Systems, which I think is an allusion to the dancing Israelis that happened when 9/11 happened, where the dancing Israelis were a part of that moving van company.
Right.
So that's a fun Easter egg. And then at the bottom, there's more Easter eggs. The purse, which might be what Flitty was referencing
Oh shit!
I'm guessing that's what that's from.
So good.
Yeah. So because Flitty was talking about Diddy and how rappers are wearing purses and it's really gay and whatnot. There's a Cats Broadway ticket. I'm not sure what that's a. I don't know.
I don't know because he also had a cat.
Oh shit! That's right.
Oh, this guy's good.
Yeah.
I was thinking like James Corden because he was in Cats.
And then what's that?
That is the passport, I presume, that was found in the rubble on 9/11, where they said, "Oh, look, we conveniently found the passport that wasn't burned in the explosion of the plane or the collapsing of the towers. Look, we know exactly who did 9/11. Look, here's their passport." So I think that's probably the allusion to that. So a lot of fun Easter eggs in this.
Very nice.
Matt Fraser, good job again.
Well done, sir.
We do have open lines, as I mentioned, for the Giselle Love line. Let's see if anyone's going to call in. They'll remain open throughout the rest of this segment.
Are we doing a community outreach or whatever it's called?
You know what? Maybe we should.
You know what? I think we should.
We didn't have it planned, but let's let fate decide who our community showcase winner is today.
I thought it was Tuna Kunt.
Giselle. So one of our segments we do is our community showcase, where we highlight an outstanding member of society. And today's winner is
Dirk.
no
Oh.
Tuna Kunt.
I told
Wow. She is famous now.
Tuna.
Is this the one?
Tuna.
Is this
Yep.
the one that everyone? Yeah, this
Yeah.
is the. she's
So
famous.
here's her LinkedIn profile, Tuna Kunt. She's a trainee solicitor at Baker McKenzie from London, England. So good for her, and she's got cool two-tone hair.
Very cool.
Let's learn more about Tuna,
Okay.
or Miss Kunt.
Wait, why is that shocking? She's Mrs. Maybe it's Mrs. Kunt.
So let's scroll down. Let's see her credentials here. She's our winner. We need to properly showcase her.
Happy Republic of Turkey.
She respects turkey
She might be Turkish.
over roast beef, cunt.
Might be Turkish.
So she works at Baker McKenzie. Never heard of it. Vacation scheme.
What?
Tuna. She's scheming. I mean, schemes are actually kind of good. It shows initiative, creativity.
It only lasted 2 months.
Yeah, it was a scheme.
What happens if you click it?
Yeah, it was a bad scheme. What?
What happens if can you click vacation scheme?
I can click it.
Let's
yes.
see. Let's see what this scheme was.
Okay.
Baker McKenzie.
Well, again, maybe we should put the call out to what that is.
Yeah.
Vacation scheme.
I don't know.
Interesting.
All right, go
Sounds
back.
sketchy.
So she was an intern. Law Society.
She was an
Just
incel.
like Dirk.
Is this my dream girl?
Dirk, do you know Tuna Kunt?
We all know each other. Lawyers, that is. What is that
What?
face?
Oh, she was the president of something. Let's see what that
Now
is.
you're just begging for the zoom in. Now
Yeah.
you're just asking for it.
She has a lot of jobs, which is actually a red flag. Because why is she getting like fired from all these jobs?
Well,
That's true.
they're not real. Intern. Like,
They're-
they're real, but
What do
she's
you
not
mean
getting
they're not
paid
real?
for them.
Oh, 'cause she's interning all the time?
Yeah.
Well, for me, since I'm so traditional, it's a red flag because like the women shouldn't be like working this much.
Oh, they're going to say because Jews wouldn't do any job for free.
Get your head out of the fucking gutter, man.
Why are Jews in the gutter?
Your head's in the gutter, not the Jews.
Jews are under
Dirk
the gutter.
doesn't
They're
want
in the
women-
tunnels underneath the gutters where the gutters lead to.
Dirk
might be
doesn't
true.
want women in the workforce. He wants them
Right. I'm a very traditional.
in the
What? I just
kitchen,
said that.
working the stove,
I just said
making
that.
dinner with water.
I'm a very traditional guy.
Wait, in the stove? Why? Because burning Jews in the Holocaust?
No, he
Is this
wants them in
Dallas
front
in
of the stove.
In front of the stove? And then what? You kick him in with your Nazi boots that you love to wear all the time?
He's got you.
All right, let's learn more about Tuna Kunt here. Go to her skills.
She has none. Oh, here we go.
Public speaking, time management. Look at all those endorsements she has.
They're like, yup, absolutely. She's great at managing her time. Absolutely.
Click on that because sometimes they have like quotes where they endorse them. Let's see who endorsed her. Look at that. Wait.
What?
Wang endorsed Kunt.
Match made in heaven.
Jackie Wang. Blockchain education.
Apparently, she says it's a good icebreaker.
What is?
Her name.
Oh, you talked to her?
No, I just looked it up.
It'd be funny if this guy's middle name was Mai.
Yeah.
Could you imagine walking
Jackie
into
Mai
a
Wang
room
and
and
Kunt.
shaking somebody's hand and saying, "Nice to meet you. I'm Tuna."
The name's Tuna. Tuna Kunt.
All right, before
Right-
we
right, Giselle?
we still have no callers for the Giselle love line.
I know you keep saying
Turkish,
that.
I
It's
told
gonna
you
be
she is Turkish.
terrible
There you
that
go.
we're in.
Well, I initially said 7:45, and it's 7:45 now, so we'll see. They might flow in, but in the meantime, you can maybe jump to our second sponsor of the day. If you guys recall, several months ago, Bud Light. Remember Bud Light had that tranny DEI gentlewoman on their can.
It was on the can.
It was on the can.
Okay.
And then a lot of folks were up in arms saying, how dare you put a tranny on my beer? And then they changed back and they reverted. And the stupid thing is, Bud Light started trying to go act like they're cool. Did you see that? Where now
Isn't
they're...
Shane Gillis?
Yeah, Shane Gillis, the new cool guy of the comedy scene, is one of their sponsors or faces of the company, mascots.
But more notably is he's like quote unquote anti-woke.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, so
what
we're
do
like
they stand
bros
for?
now. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going hard to see like they're, oh no, we hate trannies. We were just kidding about Dylan Mulvaney.
SNL is trying the same thing.
SNL tried
Shane
the same
Gillis, we
tactic.
love this comedy.
Uh-huh.
We love
Ooh, yeah, make those Asian chink jokes. This is what Shane said. I'm quoting. I'm doing journalism. I don't call them chinks. I reserve that for your Twitter page. But so yeah,
Are you
Bud
wearing
Light.
that deodorant again?
You like it?
I
No,
do.
this is a new one. This is
Yeah.
Harry's
What was the other one?
Method Man.
No, I'm getting a different whiff.
Is it
You
good?
like it?
Jury's out.
All right, we'll reconvene with the jury later. So Bud Light is trying to act like they're anti-woke now, and they have a UFC sponsorship, real manly sport.
Super
They
manly.
do?
Super
Yeah.
cool, super manly. Tough guys.
And Dana White's saying, the president of UFC, Dana White, saying, "Oh no, Bud Light's the least woke company of all. He's doing damage control for them now."
You love UFC.
I do. You should. Isn't it a bunch of hunks rubbing up on each other?
I used to.
You're the one
undergarments?
trying to fill the hole.
Well, the good news is our new sponsor is Bud Light, but I liked them when they were more gay.
Right.
Like our show and like our merch declares. I'm too short for this table for the show off our shirt properly, but it's Obama declaring how he's gay. This is a good pose. It's flattering. Oh shit, we got a caller.
Oh no.
No way.
Just when our sponsor was about to come on.
Sweating.
Hi, you're
Hi.
on the air with 9/11 is Gay with Tony, Giselle, and Dirk. Introduce yourself, please.
Oh, hi. My name's Barbara.
Hello.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi.
So, do you need
Hi.
any advice or love advice, life advice? What's going on? Give us the skinny, Barbara.
Well, actually, I have like a concern or a question. I think my son is addicted to drugs.
Uh-oh. Well, it could be good. What kind of drug?
Well, that's where I'm kind of confused. I've been catching him with a lot of like Sudafed, Robitussin, like cough or sinus stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not feeling well. Is he okay? Is he sick or anything?
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, but it's like a lot of boxes of like.
Oh, he has
lot.
boxes.
A lot. Okay.
So he has like retail, wholesale.
Are
amount.
those the ones that you have to go to the pharmacist and show ID to purchase because you have to be of a certain
Yeah.
age?
Yeah.
How
yeah.
old is he?
And my son. Well, he's 8.
8?
That seems a little bit too young.
Well, he's really cool for an 8-year-old.
I don't know if
What
8-year-olds should be taking adult Sudafed.
Well, what grade is 8 years old?
Oh, it's like what, like third, fourth?
Oh, well,
grade?
Barbara knows.
He's like his hobby. Well, he's in second grade.
So he's probably the coolest second grader in the whole elementary school.
Tony.
If he's doing robo-tripping, because that's what robo-tussing is.
Yeah, I know.
Robo tripping, is that what they call
Yeah,
it?
they call
Yeah,
it robo-tripping.
A little insensitive.
I mean, his behavior is kind of weird. Like he's like really, really into cleaning.
Well, that's good.
And
Is he a Virgo?
And, you know,
Oh, they're going to say, is he Mexican?
well, and then one night I caught him walking through the hallway in one of those, like, what do you call them? Like the COVID, like bodysuits, like with the mask.
Oh, the hazmat suit?
Yeah.
Wait, why do you have a hazmat
and, like,
suit
I
at
know that-
home?
Well, see, like, I thought that it was, you know, because I know that, like, people that smoke the weed, they use, like, gas mask and everything. So, but I don't know. I'm just kind of, yeah, like I don't know. I'm confused. And there's, like, a chemical smell.
Yeah.
Chemical
like
smell.
Chemicals, yeah. Sounds like he's
Yeah,
cooking.
and there's cooking what?
I'm not an expert. Giselle, would you like to?
Yeah, aren't your cousins are probably part of the Mexican drug cartel?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
A what?
Well, I was saying Giselle's cousins are probably part of the Mexican drug cartel. She has some intel on this, I'm sure. Let's give
my
Barbara
God.
some advice.
Well, I would be
Yeah.
curious of how much.
Like, what do you mean, though? Like, what kind of drugs? Like,
Wow,
Crack?
let's see what Giselle thinks.
I would just be concerned with how much time does he have alone to himself, where you're not able to.
well,
You're blaming her for being a bad mom?
No, I'm just saying it might have
Jeez.
to be more eyes on the child, because if he is high, then you could see it. Is
Well,
he
he's
wearing
like-
a
he's really
hazmat suit
aggressive.
to hide that he's high?
I mean, I'm not sure. Wearing that hazmat suit, there's like a lot of the chemical smell, like wafting through the hallway.
Right. I was thinking, like, you ever see Breaking Bad? They wear those when he's like, oh, Jesse, we have to cook. And then they're like wearing the suit and like, because they're dealing with chemicals. So they're like making drugs. Like maybe the 8-year-old got access to like a chemistry set or something. And
He's probably passing science class. which is a
did
plus.
you give him a chemistry set for like his birthday or Christmas or something? Recently?
Well, actually, for Christmas, he was asking me for scales.
Scales
The measurements you need. I think we're onto something here.
and multiple scales he asked for?
Yes, like the high dollar scales, like nice scales. And I asked what he was using them for, and he said that he was just going to be measuring rocks and stuff with his friends. Like they were going to go and find like, you know, like stones and stuff out in the wilderness or whatever. And like,
Well, isn't rock slang
know,
for something? Isn't like, oh, we're gonna like smoke the rock? I don't know these
Oh,
things.
shit.
Isn't
You're
rock
right.
right? Like, oh yeah, oh we'll just be measuring rocks. Like, yeah, he's gonna be like fucking making crack if that's what that is. Right? That makes
oh
sense.
my gosh.
Yeah, I'm sorry to break this to you, but that's what it sounds like.
Well, this is the Giselle segment. Giselle, what is your advice for Barbara? You were a cool
well-
drug doing kid when you were in your.
I would just be concerned with who he's hanging out with, because all of these items that he's acquiring are all things that would be a red flag if an 8-year-old were to go somewhere to purchase themselves. So that means that someone is helping your child.
Yeah, that's a good.
Well-
Yeah.
Do you have any other children?
He has no, but he has like recently within the past year made a lot of Mexican friends that don't really speak any English. So
Giselle is of the Mexican descent. Are you? I don't even know. I just loop Mexican, Spain.
You asked this like every
Cuban,
few
Portugal. They're
She's
all
Colombian.
Here.
Colombian.
What, tequila? Because you're Mexican? Okay.
No, Albanian. Sorry.
Oh, Giselle's Mexican.
I'm not Mexican. I'm Colombian.
Oh, it's the same thing. So what's your advice from the Colombian perspective?
I would just be concerned his whereabouts and who he's hanging out with.
Well, he's hanging out with Mexicans.
Well, then maybe.
Are you concerned?
Maybe it's who he's hanging out with.
What if he's hanging out with white guys? Then it would be good.
No, it doesn't
Wait, it wouldn't be
matter.
good?
It doesn't matter if they're Jewish, Spanish, Black, Asian.
Okay.
Jewish,
You don't see color?
Black. Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It just
right. I
matters
agree
if
with
they're
that.
older and they're kids that want to do bad things.
Yeah. Well, I know this isn't my segment.
Okay,
but,
so you don't
yeah.
you don't think I should like just put him in the corner like for 5 minutes with his nose against the corner?
Well,
Like that wouldn't be, or like
We have another call coming in.
well, we're not done with this one. Hold on a second.
All right, wait.
Hold on.
All right,
What?
go on.
I was going to say,
Barbara.
my daddy, when I was young, my daddy never struck me. He never hit me. Never even came close. But he took me aside when I was like in middle school. I know your son is a little bit younger than that, but maybe he needs to have this talk at an earlier age. But when I was a young teen, my father took me aside. He grabbed me. He said, "Son," he goes, "I'm not a violent man, but if I ever catch you doing drugs, I'm gonna beat the ever living shit out of you." And I'm not even kidding. And I respected him for that. I said, "Dad, absolutely.
Okay.
That is what you should be
Okay.
telling your son. If you do these things that are going to be self-destructive to you, you're going to get an ass whooping."
Was your dad from southern Israel?
He was,
Is
actually.
his name Stone Cold Steve Austin?
It's not. No.
Well, is that helpful for you, Barb?
yes, I think I got some answers, and thank you guys so much.
Kick his ass,
Thank you
Barb.
for
Shit,
sharing.
We got another call. I got to get to it. Thanks,
Kick
Barb.
your son's
Bye,
ass,
Barb.
Barb.
Hello, you are on the air with 9/11 is gay.
Wow, this is amazing. I am truly honored to be on the show. Thank you.
So introduce yourself and let Giselle know what your qualm is.
Sure. My name is Daniel, and I have a question about sex before marriage.
Good. I think Giselle will have great advice for that.
Hi.
Giselle,
nice-
what's your take on sex before marriage?
Big fan.
I mean, there is no judgment for those who want to wait. But also,
None?
No.
We wouldn't
No.
judge. So if someone said, "I'm not having sex till marriage," you wouldn't judge them whatsoever?
no, what do I care?
I don't know. What's your experience with sex before marriage?
Well, that's not what the person is asking.
No, but you're saying you would judge them not at all. I kind of feel like you might judge them.
Okay, so I'm sorry. What was your name again?
Daniel.
Daniel. You're concerned.
Yes.
So you're asking the question because you're considering sex before marriage, or you're entering a relationship where your significant other is not into sex before marriage?
Great question.
Well, I've had sex before marriage before, but now I wonder, going forward, is that appropriate? I wonder. And I'm starting to think maybe it's not.
Well, what events transpired in your life where you're having second doubts? You're having some doubts about this.
Well, I'm thinking, if sex has a purpose, which is to create more life, yes, it's also pleasurable, but the purpose of it is to create life. And if I don't intend on creating life, is it right to just do it for fun?
Giselle?
I mean, if you're asking me personally, yes.
Yes, I am, personally.
Yeah, I mean, my answer is yes, but
Is what? Wait, what are you saying yes to?
he's asking, is it okay to do just for pleasure? Of course. Why would
So you're
I
a
mean,
hedonist.
my
Hedonista.
No. I'm answering his question about me personally.
And you're personally a
But
hedonist.
it's the same way if
Nothing wrong with that. Hedonism's fine.
If Tony's sleeping with a man or a woman, what do I care?
You had to start with man.
I'm just saying.
No. Well,
But if you don't want to have children, I mean, that's a really good reason to like not do the deed,
what deed?
Having kids?
the intercourse.
Oh.
The
Because I'm going to assume that you're having sex with women because you're saying there is the potential to make a baby.
Are you saying men can't have?
Well, rather than the potential, I'm thinking like the ultimate purpose of it.
Oh, so this is more like emotional, spiritual, your character, what you're here on this planet to do?
Yeah, I'm kind of getting philosophical about it.
Is it religious?
My bad. I know this is a fun show, but I'm getting kind of philosophical.
No, I dig it.
Is it religious?
Well, we all have a religion, right?
No.
Yeah, I think we all have a religion, whether we think we do or not. It's whatever it is that decides our actions, right? However, whatever makes up our worldview and how we act in the world. So, I guess, yeah, if you do have sex before marriage, that abides by whatever religion you have, and even if you don't, that also abides by whatever religion you have as well.
Yeah, but
I could get down with that.
So you don't want to sin, though. What's your religion?
Yeah, but he's not saying it's sin. He's just saying that it's not aligned with like who he wants to be and show up in this lifetime.
To me, all pleasure is sin. Right, Daniel?
No, I don't think all pleasure is sin. I think some pleasure is sinful and some pleasure is not.
That's fair. I mean, it depends on everyone's definition of what's pleasurable, right?
And so, Daniel, do you have a significant other, wife or a girlfriend you're wanting
Or
to...
a boyfriend?
Yeah.
I did have a wife as of a few years ago. And we did copulate before marriage.
Oh.
And then I've had some girlfriends after that whom I copulated with as well, and we were not married. But now I'm wondering, is it worth the wait?
Yes, I think so. If I could throw my 2 cents in, I think you shouldn't procreate before marriage because then when you finally do... All right, let me put it to you in terms of this. Guy to guy, Daniel. If you've ever gone... What? Huh?
Have I ever gone what?
I think he left.
So if you've ever gone like weeks or months without sex or masturbation, when you finally do...
Yeah. My record is 100 days.
Whoa. So when you finally do unleash the load that you've been carrying on your shoulders, the pleasure is that much more. So if you wait and you have this girl that you're attracted to, or guy, or animal, dolphins love sex. When you finally do get married and procreate with this individual, the pleasure will be that much greater. So in my estimation, I know this is Giselle's love line, but my opinion is don't have sex before marriage because it'll be 10 times, maybe even 100 times better.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I'm inclined to agree with you there. I'm inclined.
Yes.
Okay, well, my advice is have sex before marriage and don't get married.
Hell yeah. Based.
That's because she's a horny Mexican.
Tony!
It sounds like Giselle's a heathen.
Yeah.
Sounds like what?
It sounds like you're a heathen.
Oh.
Heathen, too. Whoa.
A heathenist.
A hedonist. So,
you said heathen is okay. Yeah, that word.
well, a heathen as well. I mean, you're right as well, Daniel. But as we know, Mexicans love procreating, and they are incredibly fertile, which could be problematic. But Giselle,
I'm just saying, you don't have to put yourself through all this stress and, worry over this other person unless you really are entering this like sacred dimension, sacred way of living. I don't know. If it's pleasure to you, why are you going to deny yourself?
Heathenism.
You have a good point. And like on that Mexican tip, I know, being Mexican, like there's a level of horniness there. I'm half Puerto Rican.
ooh.
So my level of horniness is very similar. So I'm not saying it's easy,
All right, well, Daniel, now that I know you're half Puerto Rican, I take back what I said because it could actually be medically damning and damaging to you if you do refrain from sex before marriage and wait that long. So I would, to cover my own ass, and I know we have our Jewish attorney with us, Dirk. So
Yeah.
I don't want to get sued by saying you shouldn't have sex before marriage. But now that I know all the facts, and you're Puerto Rican, you're very horny. Puerto Ricans are basically Mexican too. I don't want you to wait that long. Have as much sex as you can, and release whatever semenical demons you have in you as often as possible.
What are you
I'm
doing Monday?
anti-Semitic.
Whoa.
Sounds like you just got a date.
No.
What was that, Giselle?
Giselle wants to know
I
what
was
you're doing
asking
Monday.
what he was doing Monday, but I meant because it's the eclipse and the devil's comet.
He's got a devil's comment for you.
I'm not planning on having sex on the eclipse, if that was your question, Giselle.
It's not. Why not? Can you share?
No, but I will take all the advice you give me as spiritual, legal, and medical advice. I think it's well placed, and I'm going to follow your advice to the T.
Wait, but why don't you want to have sex on the eclipse?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just curious.
I'm not dating anyone right now, so there's no one to have sex with on the eclipse.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I
So I mean,
Well-
Giselle, if you're not doing anything on the eclipse, I'm happy to come to New York. Like I'm really far away, but
My man. My man.
Well, Dirk is taking us to some ridiculous lawyer conference, so we might actually miss the whole fucking thing.
Well, no, it's specifically in the
I know. Here we go.
Umbria, or whatever it's called, of the eclipse.
Embryo.
No.
Whoa.
Daniel's trying to avoid
you're probably better off
embryos.
at the lawyer You're probably better off at the lawyer conference anyway. You'll probably meet a nice rich one and be able to copulate and have all that fun.
See what you're doing, Giselle? Now you slaughtered his confidence.
He's being nice.
And you're supposed to say, no, I do need you, Daniel.
Look, Umbra,
The inner region
Casted
of
by the shadow of the moon.
Vaginal canal?
that's what I was saying. It was like my lawyer conference is in the Umbra of the eclipse, so we're going to experience it while getting some work done and making that money.
Well, the other
All right.
All right.
So, Daniel, did that cover your... Do you feel better? Do you feel worse?
Yeah, I want to just not hang up.
Yeah,
with them.
I feel great. I mean, I think the advice you guys gave me was like 100% to the T. I'm going to follow it to the letter. And I appreciate you guys taking my call.
Well, if you're half Puerto Rican, what's the other half? If you
Italian
say Italian,
and
oh my,
Eastern
that's the
European.
best mix.
Whoa.
Half Puerto Rican, half Italian is the best mix.
Well, you just got yourself a date for the eclipse, my friend.
Daniel, what state are you in?
I'm born and raised in New York, and then I moved to Georgia, and now I'm in North Carolina.
Oh, wow. Okay. The crew was thinking about visiting that area.
The crew. Who's the crew?
Hey, well, now you have my number. Shoot me a text.
Excellent.
My man.
Thank you, Daniel. This was great.
Well, Daniel, the thing I want to mention,
Oh.
though, for your own sake, you mentioned North Carolina. I was conceived.
Yes, sir.
I was conceived in North Carolina, so this might be a kismet, fate, destiny for you to conceive something with Giselle.
Oh, my God.
Wow, don't make promises that you can't keep.
Then we'll just have to keep that promise.
Tony
All right,
can't
thank
keep
you,
any
Daniel.
promises.
Well,
Oh my
thank you for
God.
tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Daniel. We love you.
Thank you so much. Have a good one, y'all.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Well, you got a busy week ahead of you.
Oh my God.
He was a great.
Is
nice
Barbara
guy.
gonna be okay? We should have checked in with her again before we hung up.
It was rushed because someone called, they hung up, then they called again. It might have been Daniel both times. But
Well, I gave her the best advice I could.
You did.
Just
you did.
beat the snot
yeah,
out of your
I'm
child.
not saying it's bad. Oh,
No, that's
yeah,
that's
okay. I mean, I don't know.
beat the shit out of your child.
My right foot is really
Sweating.
sweating.
What happened to your left foot?
I don't know.
Okay.
so as I was mentioning before the callers called in, our new sponsor, if we could jump back to that whole shtick.
Gay beer?
Gay Bud Light. Bud Light reached out to us. They said, we want to sponsor your show.
Oh, because they're trying to be edgy and cool now, so they contacted us.
Right. But then I said, excuse me, no, Mr. Light. I don't.
If that is your real
I don't like your new shtick you're doing. I liked you better when you were gay.
Anheuser-Busch.
Ooh.
Little foreshadowing there.
So I said, okay, good. We'll accept you if Bud Light is still gay. And they said, okay, we'll play this ad for you, and we're good.
Good evening. I'll be taking care of you this evening. Do you know what you want to order yet, sir?
Yeah, I'll have a beer.
Mr. Peck, here is your beer, Mr. Peck.
What's this?
That is your beer.
Okay. Ugh, this beer isn't gay. I want my beer to be gay. Get me a fucking gay beer, you motherfucker. The last thing I want to think about when I drink beer is vagina or tits. You a heterosexual? Yeah, you like women, you like girls, you like gash, you like getting gash with the boys. Now get me something gay. Now, quick.
Here is your Bud Light, Mr. Peck.
Thanks, cocksucker.
So that was our new sponsor. Thank you, Bud Light, for re-gaying up your product.
And
for
thank
us.
you, and thank you, sports.
Thank you, sports are very gay. Let's get into some random topics of the day. So last week, nope, no Twitter segment. Last week we had a rapper on, Lil Flitty, who talked about Diddy, and then after that happened, Diddy's house got raided by the FBI, and he fled.
Yep.
And there were rumors he fled to a country without U.S. What's it called? Extradition rules.
Yeah, don't ask me to say that.
So I think it could have been our damning segment that really put him over the edge, where the FBI's like, oh shit, this Diddy insider just
gave us all the information we need.
I mean, is that coincidence?
I think
No.
Giselle? No.
It's not.
No such thing as coincidence, as we'll learn.
So I think we sent Diddy running, which is pretty cool.
But he did have a good Easter.
Did he? What happened?
Yeah, he posted
Wait,
on
did he?
Instagram.
Wait, did he?
What happened?
Nothing, just that he was. It was a big deal because he went on his account and posted Happy Easter and put his little kid up there, and like nothing had happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he's like whatever. But meanwhile, what we didn't talk about in the episode, which I was a little bit bummed about, but now they're really going after Cuba Gooding Jr. because he's the one who likes to stick his finger in women's butts and grab a boob whenever he can, and now he's getting in trouble for what's his name, who has the lawsuit.
Lil Rod.
Yes.
Well, Lil Rod said Cuban Gooding Jr. also came out to him. So it wasn't just women.
He just likes sticking his
Huh?
butt,
Oh yeah, no,
fingers in
yes,
butts.
that Cuba Gooding Jr. is just like a fucking pig.
Any hole.
Any hole.
Any butt.
Trying to fill a hole. Yep.
Stick his finger in any butt.
Yes. So he's probably going down, and I'm here for it.
He's been going down on Lil Rod.
What an unfortunate name, Little Rod.
Yeah.
The
Especially with the dolphin.
accusations were that Diddy was grooming
Little Rod?
Little Rod.
No, it's Lil Rod.
No, it's Lil.
Lil.
I just said Lil.
Oh, you said Lil?
Giselle
Lil.
said Lil.
That's his legal
Lil.
name.
That Diddy was grooming Lil Rod and getting him prepared and acclimated to then pass him over to Cuba Gooding Jr.
Well,
Really?
Cuba's that great and
I mean, he
of
was
a
there.
lover
He
where
was
he needs
there in the-
acclimation beforehand?
Listen, he was at the recording sessions for the album of Love.
Wow. I mean, if
When
anything,
they show if you look it up on the internet, when you see the photo of Cuba Gooding and Little Rod, it's all red. It was when they were tracking that album that came out last year.
but let's look at this through the lens of a cool guy.
Okay. How are we going to do that?
Are you gonna flex?
We have a caller calling and it was a cool
shit.
guy.
Really?
No.
How do you know?
But, all right, let me speak from a loser guy's lens first, and then we could kind of tailor that towards a cool guy lens.
All right.
Cuba Gooding Jr.,
Yeah.
also known as Cuba.
Okay.
He's being named in this lawsuit, and now they're saying what you said, that Cuba is so good at loving that his lovey had to be acclimated, warmed up, get the oil checked beforehand, because he's so good that you can't just jump right into Cuba's love life. You can't just jump right into bed with him. So the point I'm making here is, from a loser point of view, I have no credentials of my women and men that I've tried to woo that needed any sort of priming before I got my hands on them. So if anything, this is really an advertisement for Cuba Gooding Jr., where it's like, oh, I'm such a good lover. You need to have Sean Diddy Combs warm you up before you get to me. Otherwise, it's going to be game over from the get-go. Yes?
Okay.
No.
Wait, what do you mean no? You just said...
I just think that it's like you're going to school, and so like Diddy's like, okay, well, before you graduate, like you need to learn a couple of things, and then I pass you on to this guy.
That's exactly what I just said.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. I said no
Kind of
women
is,
or
yeah.
men needed education or a scholarly certification before they graduated to me. There was no graduating to me.
It's because you're a loser.
Exactly. So if anything, this is cool for Cuba Gooding Jr. saying he's so good, you need a certification before you get to his level.
Except it was like a kid. It
Yeah.
was a child.
Lil Rod wasn't a kid.
He was? I thought that's what this whole thing was, is that he was just like a
No,
kid,
No, Little
underage
Rod's an
kid.
adult.
No,
Oh,
Lil
is he?
Rod. Yeah.
I don't know.
Just because his name is Lil Durk.
Yeah, there's plenty of adults with Lil Rods as well.
Yeah, you don't have to tell
Lil
me.
Kim is like 45 or 50.
He's not so
And
little.
who also probably had
So
intercourse
where
with
is the
P.
fault
Diddy.
in my logic where I'm saying this is a good
All right,
advertisement
what,
for
all
Cuba?
right.
Show
is that
me the
point?
money.
Is that
Yes,
good?
that's the point. This is a good thing for him. Saying he's so good of a lover, you need a secondary and a college degree before you graduate to him, in Giselle's words.
Well,
All right.
no, it felt more
Great
like.
point. Next segment.
Okay, yep.
Nope.
It just felt more of like having to show him the ropes of
Shooting ropes.
man on man. It sounds like Lil Rod
Oh my god.
did not have previous experience with men.
So what the hell is Cuba Gooding Jr. going to do to this guy? My
or-
God.
That's what I'm saying.
Jesus Christ.
He
I don't think.
didn't-
No, I don't think it's good at all.
Oh, you think
what
it's-
the fuck is he going to do to
Oh,
him?
you think it's so bad?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's so good.
It's
Well,
no,
you're
I think
fucked
it's ceremonial, right? And
Whoa.
P. Diddy's gonna show him how the ceremony happens. and
Religious
then
experience.
Cuba Gooding
Well,
Jr. comes
dark
in
religion.
to actually have the ritual with Little Rod.
You're a spiritual girl, so you're saying this is...
But this is like dark aspect of spirituality and shit.
like, yeah, Crowleyan.
I'm
I
not
don't. Yeah,
dark.
Crowley. I know you like Crowley. But I fucking. Hate
I didn't say I.
Oh,
I
I like
the guy
Crowley
was-
too.
No.
Friend of the show,
No,
Alistair Crowley.
No, not a friend of the show. Stay away from the show. Alistair Crowley's spirit. Stay away from the show.
Wait, he's
That
alive.
was lunatic.
No, he's
no,
dead.
he's dead.
Oh, I was
That's why I
like,
said
what?
He's
spirit.
even more powerful dead.
Yeah, fucking that guy was insane.
Well, anyway, there is speculation out there that what Diddy was doing was some sort of ritual, and that's why it needed to be penetration of younger men that they're trying to steal their essence or their vibration or their youth. And so I guess I don't know what Cuban
Energy
Jr.
vampires.
Yeah.
Have you tried that?
No. Nope.
No, she's a good.
I'm just asking.
She's good. She's a good girl.
The other big thing in the news, I guess, and then we could wrap it up. I have nothing else planned. Is Nickelodeon documentary.
Oh yeah.
So I think everyone by now has probably seen it, except Giselle. Have you seen it?
No.
So watching the Nickelodeon documentary, everyone was expecting there to be these big bombshells against the creator Dan Schneider for him molesting sexually all these little Nickelodeon kids. But after watching it, really the worst thing they could say about him was that he was a mean boss and that he was mean to the female employees and that he paid the female employees less than the men. And to me, that's all based. So after watching the documentary, the only thing I got out of it regarding Dan Schneider was Dan Schneider is cooler than I thought. But the main thing that came out from that documentary was that not Dan Schneider, who everyone thought was the pedophile monster, was another Nickelodeon executive who was a voice coach in many shows named Brian Peck. And as you guys know, my last name is Peck. Brian Peck is a member of my tribe.
Can't trust him.
So I do applaud him for his prowess that he showed, just like Cuba Gooding Jr. did that Giselle mentions that she's a fan of. So
isn't Josh from Drake and Josh? Isn't his name Peck? Isn't
yes,
Josh
Peck. Many Pecks in the Nickelodeon pedophilic realm.
And
but
also you, yeah.
The grander point I'm making here is in the documentary, the main bombshell was that not Dan Schneider, but this gentleman named Brian Peck did the R word to Drake Bell from Drake and Josh.
You're not going to say it?
Not Drake the rapper?
Well, the algorithms...
Serious? You're not going to say rape?
He raped Drake from Drake and Josh.
No, you know why? Because
He said the T word before, and he doesn't say the
It just
R
pees
word.
me so much when they're like, oh, when the R, it's like...
It is pretty gay.
Fucking,
All right, he raped Drake.
What, you can't say that word?
What, do we have to keep saying it?
No, I was explaining... Never mind. No, we don't have to keep saying it.
So that was the main bombshell. But, see, the thing I want to bring up now, everyone's already talked about that. That's overdone. My unique point of view is Donkey Lips from Salute Your Shorts.
Stop. What does he have to do with any of this?
He has a lot to do.
Wait, I do know that show. Can you pull him up?
Yeah, Dirk, pull up. Actually, yeah, pull up, please, Drake Bell and Donkey Lips.
Oh, come on.
No, this is important. As long as we have we need a visual of Donkey Lips.
Donkey Lips now or Donkey Lips?
No, I need
then.
Donkey Lips then.
Do then. There we go.
Stop it.
That's good. That's good. So now pull up Drake Bell and just have both of those on cue, please.
Yes, sir.
All right, it's a then and now. That's good. So have that up on cue and Donkey Lips. So the point I'm making here is Donkey Lips, who was from the beloved show Salute Your Shorts, he is now coming out saying that Brian Peck also sexually molested him. So now my point I want to make is pull up Drake Bell, please.
This is the guy
in.
who's molesting?
No, this is the guy.
He was molested
Yeah.
by Brian Peck.
But he also got in trouble because he did some fucked up things.
Yeah, but that's...
I thought,
That's
what did
something
he do?
else. He was something with underage girls. He was like, yeah.
The point is, Drake Bell...
Tony's officially dropping the note.
No.
How many drinks did he have?
From this documentary, Drake Bell declared he was raped many times by Brian Peck. Zoom in, please, on Drake Bell. We need a close-up. So you can see he's kind of a hunk. So So the problem I have now is Donkey Lips. Please pull up Donkey Lips. Zoom in.
Enhance.
He's now
he's not a hunk.
after the documentary came out. Donkey Lips is saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, Brian Peck also sexually molested me." So now, all right, let's look at Donkey Lips. He was always known as like the jovial, overweight kid from Salute Your Shorts, not a hunk. Drake Bell was known as the quintessential hunk from Drake and Josh. He played guitar, has a cool Beberian haircut. So, again, my point I want to make here is if Donkey Lips brought this up into a court of law, all Brian Peck would have to say is, Jerry, I was banging the hottest kid on Nickelodeon. Why would I subject myself to the laughingstock of Nickelodeon in Donkey Lips?
All right, can we eat now?
So he's doing a money grab because there's also evidence of the actor of Donkey Lips, Michael
Can I
Ray.
see the guy who's doing the molestation?
Yeah, pull up Brian Peck.
Can we do the Madonna segment now?
No, the point is Michael Ray Bauer is actually in hard times with his money, where he's very desperate for cash, where he's selling autographed Donkey Lips shorts and stuff from the show.
Oh, really?
So he's hard for cash. So he's trying to jump on the money train where Drake
God.
was actually molested. And now Donkey Lips is saying, oh, yeah, no, me too, totally. But if Brian Peck, this sick individual, already had the hottest gentleman on Nickelodeon, why would he then go to Donkey Lips?
Tony,
Giselle?
as your lawyer, you can't be saying these things. As your lawyer. No, this segment's getting cut. This isn't going to be in the... Be seen.
He was.
in a
I guess he
negative
was
light.
grooming women.
Who?
The
Brian Peck?
the hunk.
Oh, Drake Bell.
Yeah, Drake was grooming. Yeah, he was dealing with the
So another. When is this world going to realize we're having a fucking epidemic here of people wanting to be naked with children?
Yeah, it is.
This is a literal epidemic.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is Drake was molested as a kid, so then he gets fucked up for later in life where he's now doing the same things.
I just don't think that's...
It's not a good excuse.
No, it's not an excuse.
That's
it is
real, but I
reason,
just think that now it's like an actual epidemic that it's happening. People are okay with it, and it's happening all over the place, and it's a sick world. Back to Dirk's point about how sick things are happening all the time around us, and it sucks.
I don't know how many people are okay with it. But.
Well, that was Brian Peck.
I mean, I just hope that these people are okay.
Who? Brian Peck?
No.
Oh, Drake and Donkey?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. But I don't actually believe Donkey Lips was assaulted.
Interesting. Well,
Huh?
we'll see.
How?
You gonna feel bad if you're wrong?
No, because I stand by the logic.
You're saying that he's thirsty.
For money, yeah.
All right, my whole body's sweating. Are we
done?
I'm hungry.
Let's bring on our guest of the day to talk about the Baltimore Bridge collapse.
I'm going to grab a snack before we do it, guys.
CIA Agent Bill Brennan's coming on, and he's going to give us the intel on what those Republicans did with the Baltimore Bridge. Dun, dun, Thanks, everyone. See you soon. End racism. End racism. End racism. End it. Now. End racism. End racism. End racism. End racism now. Yeah, hello. End racism, please. Yeah, it's pretty easy. End racism. Just end it. You just end racism, you son of a bitch. I like my coffee black.
End racism. End racism. End racism.
Just fucking end it. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to 9/11 is Gay, the information show. And we got a lot of good information coming up because, as you can see, we are now joined by returning guest, Bill Brennan.
Good evening.
If you remember from our second episode, Bill talked about his history as a CIA agent for the United States government. God bless him. And he talked to us about some of his various past missions and things he's worked on. But today, we wanted to get his insight specifically on the Baltimore Bridge collapse. Bill has some inside intel on that. But before we get into that, Bill, do you want to give a brief history on your CIA background for the folks who haven't met you yet?
Certainly. Well, I am retired right now. That's why I can talk about some of the stuff that I do. I go around and I try to tell people about some of the inside things that I heard, because I think it's time people hear some of these things. We're living in the information age, and it's some good information.
For the information show.
Exactly.
It really is.
The titular line. All right, so one of the interesting things you showed us last time, Dirk, if you want to just pull up quick, you used to work for the military.
Oh, yeah.
And we have an image here of you with George Bush Sr.
Right. That's President Bush.
Great guy.
That was in Mogadishu, Somalia, right there. He was still president at that time. He was vice president to Ronald Reagan, CIA director before that in the 70s. And upon meeting him was what got the ball rolling for my personal recruitment. And since then, it's been a career. And he was a fantastic gentleman.
Yeah, we love the Bushes here.
Yeah, I like the Bushes too.
I'm a big Bush guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for the folks at home, let's give a brief overview of the Baltimore Bridge for people who don't know.
Oh,
like
well,
Giselle.
yeah.
Giselle hates the bridge.
I don't
bridge
hate
do
the
you hate?
bridge.
Well, the bridge is gone, so you should
Well,
be
if
happy.
you hate the bridge,
Oh my God.
you should be happy because there is no bridge.
my
You know, it's in the water. But
So yeah, like what happened with the bridge was, I mean, I'll give a brief overview and then you kind of
Yeah,
have more of a deeper dive into it.
okay.
But a couple weeks ago, there was a cargo ship in Baltimore that crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge. And then it collapsed in like a matter of seconds after the ship hit it. Right. I think several folks died. No one on the ship died. But I think workers on the bridge passed away.
All from South America, I might add.
Yeah, that was one of the interesting things that you wanted to mention. Dirk,
Yeah.
pull up the people who died. There's an article I read on this. So here, MSNBC, Baltimore Bridge collapse victims were all immigrants. And
Right.
here's why we can't ignore that. So why is that interesting that only immigrants died, as per this article?
Coincidence, you might say? Some would say no, it's not a coincidence.
But weren't there a bunch of construction workers out there?
Yeah,
Right.
but all that died were South American immigrants.
Right.
Do we know if there were only immigrants working on the bridge?
Well, we know that only immigrants from South America were the ones that died. So the other ones somehow made it off the bridge. Is the point where the conspiracy theory is leading, if you want to call it a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, because the
That's
thing
a
is, there's
pretty-
a lot of conspiracy theories going around, but that's just like people on Twitter and Reddit and whatever saying these things. But that's why we wanted to bring you on to, since you have a career in shadow operations and things of the sort.
Something like that would easily be planned. Something like that. And
So why?
the fact that they coordinated with the police and the bridge authorities to close down the bridge before it was going to happen. You know, a lot of ships lose power or they have problems. They don't close down the bridge. So, and if you see the video of the ship, it actually looks like it was steering into the bridge, but I can't confirm that. But that's a pretty bold statement, but I won't go that far. But there's a lot more to this Key Bridge incident than is being shown right now. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. But why? I mean, you said it might not be a coincidence that immigrants died. Why? What would that mean?
Well, that would mean that it would be a political viewpoint to do with the DEI hires, the diversity, equity, and inclusion aspect of hiring for certain jobs that people aren't qualified for. In other words, there could have been a language barrier that they couldn't understand the evacuation order to get off the bridge because there was a language barrier. And people were told to evacuate the bridge in English, not Spanish. And they didn't understand, and that's why they died. So there's all different kinds of targeting going on to the fact that this can't be a coincidence that only South American immigrants from El Salvador.
So if it was political, like you said, like who would be behind that then?
Oh, politicians and power-hungry people, especially during the election year, from the top down. I mean, this whole DEI subject is from the top down. This is a George Soros invention, and he has his tentacles into all of it. We're inundated with DEI, and it's causing massive failures throughout the American infrastructure, for one thing, and the positions that people are filling are just, they're not qualified for it. Their training is, they don't have training. The reason they're there is because they're either gay or black, which, not to be, it's a racist subject. If you mention that, it's, we're not here to be racist or to talk about racism as that. We're talking about the fact of it. If you're not qualified and the only reason you're there is because you're gay or a certain ethnic group, that is putting the public at risk, especially in a safety-sensitive job, like operating a 1,000-ton vessel, for example.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. And I think that that needs to be spoken about because it's too important to just ignore.
So, yeah, regarding DEI, the crew of the ship that crashed into the bridge, they were all from India.
They were all from India. They didn't speak English, and it was an Indian crew. And the electrical portion of that crew were all hermaphrodites from Sri Lanka.
No way.
Yeah, they were hermaphrodites.
Serious?
Right. It's the only reason that they were hired. So they called it, now they're calling it the hermaphrodite crew.
Yeah.
So,
well, you sent us...
so their training, there is no training. It's a perfect example of they're in a safety-sensitive position without training just because of their ethnicity or their sexual orientation and so on like that, or they're a minority. And that's just wrong. And we're seeing the outcome of it now. It's a big safety issue.
Yeah,
Really
so being that it is an election year, I know you mentioned Soros. There was another executive order you brought up where it seemed like Republicans were also kind of pushing DEI.
Yeah, well, they're using that as a political tool also. It's not so much they're pushing it, it's almost like not what you do, it's almost what you don't do. They're seeing that the DEI is being pushed, but they're not necessarily pushing back. They're letting it happen so they could gloat in the victory of a disaster.
Yeah, well, that is interesting because you said Soros, who is a notable liberal figurehead, pushing DEI, but now you're saying Republicans are actually pushing DEI themselves or letting it happen?
Exactly.
Because they think
that, right, because the results...
The mono party.
The results of
the what?
Like the mono party, the uniparty, or whatever they call it, mono party.
It's exactly right. There's some things that they're just going to let them do. They'll quietly say, oh, yeah, we're not for that, the DEI. But actually letting that go and perpetuating it helps them politically because at the end they can gloat about how bad the policies were of the Democrats pushing the DEI.
Because bad things will happen?
Bad things will happen, and a politician is a politician. Just like we spoke about last time. People are going to die, but it's a power game. So...
Yeah, the way I always understood was DEI is a liberal policy. So
it is.
But one of the interesting things you showed us here, I mean, I never read political documents and stuff, but there was an executive order you sent me to pull up.
Right.
They're here of that Trump actually signed when he was president.
Right.
So-
Well, that's the beginning of it.
Yeah. So,
That's him quietly bolstering the DEI program.
so if we could just skim through it, it says, by authority vested in me as president of the United States, just gibberish in the first paragraph. The second paragraph, I'm issuing a presidential executive order that requires DEI persons, regardless of citizenship, to work in every job sector in the city of Baltimore. So this
Specifically
is like
Baltimore. Isn't that ironic?
the bridge.
Right.
Wait, go back to that. So this order aims to improve diversity, equity, inclusion in the workforce, promote economic growth, stability, equal opportunities for all. This executive order requires all employers in Baltimore to adopt and implement DEI strategies and policies to remove any bias in recruitment, hiring, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Any violation of this order will be persecuted by the Supreme Court of the United States. If found guilty, the defendant will face capital punishment or life in prison.
Right. This was
Capital
Donald
punishment.
Trump's response to the initial introduction of DEI, which would satisfy the Democrats and also all their constituents. But this is him saying, okay, have it, and now have at it. Here, I really want you to have it now.
Right.
You know, he's sticking it down their throat is what's happening with this. This is the beginning stages of that. And actually, his plan is working because since then, we can count how many disasters have happened as a result of this directly.
Yeah.
But they don't want to talk about it because it's you're a racist or a homophobe or a xenophobe if you are, which is also part of the DEI problem because if you're not allowed to talk about it, you'll never fix it. So he's being smart about it. He's sticking it down their throat.
Yeah.
And he still is.
So it's interesting Trump signed this, and it's also interesting he specifically targeted Baltimore.
Exactly.
Why would that be?
Well, that's why I sent this to you.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about coincidences or the lack of
Sure.
coincidences. This lack of coincidence. Planning, chess pieces.
Yeah.
You know, political chess game.
Trump really is playing 5D chess, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess QAnon is.
You see what I mean, though,
right.
about
Yeah.
stepping back and looking at the big macro picture, like a big chess game.
It's tough
You
to
see
do.
stuff like this. It's
Yeah.
so it's really perspective.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is years ago, and now it's starting to fall into place when you step back on it. And it's a prime example. That's why this is a very important document, really.
Yeah.
That's
And
wild.
it's
It's amazing.
and it's
amazing.
interesting that the ship that crashed into the bridge was named Dali.
Dali, yeah, like Salvador Dali.
Yeah, who was a Spanish immigrant,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the crew were all from India,
Yep.
and the ship itself was from Singapore.
It was flagged in Singapore, yeah.
Yeah.
Licensed out of Singapore, yes. I don't think it's a coincidence that that particular ship was in that harbor on that night.
Yeah, because there was an article you
It
sent
wasn't
us.
random, and it was, and that's why this specific Baltimore reference ties in with that.
Yeah, pull up the next article, Dirk. So here we have Trump. The headline says, Trump visits president of Singapore, signs cargo imports deal.
Right. This was your follow-up on that. Good job. I'm finding that because he has dealings with this man on a trade level, and which would lead to a lot of shipping deals. And his relationship with this man also, can it be a coincidence? Biden doesn't have the relationship with this guy like he does, because Biden really isn't a businessman. Trump is street-level businessman. He's
True.
a blue-collar billionaire.
Look at that, the art of the deal right there.
Right, art of the
Firm
deal.
handshake,
Yeah.
making that deal.
Right, right.
Powerful.
So
Matched his tie, too, to make it seem like they're like good friends.
And, you know, what's amazing about all this is that at what point do you say this can't be a coincidence? That's really, when it all comes together, it almost fits too perfectly.
Salvador Dali, yeah, that's crazy.
And the caption under the photo, too, also mentions...
Yeah.
Hold on, make it bigger. I can't read
Trump shakes hands with President of Singapore, marking historic import deal for the city of Baltimore.
that. So that ship was always going to plan to be used in Baltimore.
Right. So there's a lot of Baltimore connections. And why would you have advanced knowledge of a specific ship being in Baltimore? And the reaction time was almost too automatic. And it's, you know, and also this interferes greatly with international trade, supply chain issues, again, during a election year, similar to supply chain issues that COVID caused during 2020 election year. So there's parallels. Different disaster, but parallels.
So yeah, you also mentioned there was a like a veteran employee that worked for the city of Baltimore on the bridge, and he kind of became like a whistleblower in a way where he was mentioning these DEI policies were kind of being like forced upon them even when the workers weren't like up to snuff.
Right. Well, that's definitely true. And that goes back to the safety issue. These people are just not trained for these sensitive jobs.
Yeah, the whistleblower you mentioned, he there was an email that he made public now from, it looked like one of the HR supervisor. Derek, pull up this email.
We talked about this one.
So yeah, they redacted his email address, but this was his HR supervisor replying to a message of his. I guess I'll just read it.
Who's exactly?
So this was a whistleblower from who worked for the city of Baltimore, and he reached out to like the HR departments about his concerns with the workers, and then this is the reply back to him from the HR lady, Lauren.
Baltimore, specifically. See?
Yeah. So this is his HR rep's reply back to him. She said, "Mr. Owens, we received your email regarding your concern with the new hires for the city electrical department. We looked into your claims and found there are no issues with the Sri Lankan employees of the District 7 Baltimore County team. We found no evidence to support your claim that they were hired because of their hermaphroditic status, and their lack of certification and education credentials is no cause for concern. We understand that there were several workplace incidents and hazardous accidents involving a few members of the employees in question that resulted in civilian injury and death. Please move forward from these incidents and consider them on-the-job training. After evaluation, we will not be terminating the employees. Please let me know if there's anything else I could help you with." So, I mean, this is kind of damning. I mean, this is the attitude of HR, it seems now. They're all too scared to fire.
If someone died, it's on-the-job training. You'll live and you learn. Or you die and you learn.
The only reason they were there is because they're hermaphrodites. I had to look up exactly what a hermaphrodite was. I have to be honest.
Tell the audience what a hermaphrodite is.
It's a combination of Hermes and Aphrodite.
Exactly. Well, technically, scientifically, I believe it's both genders. If that's like the big definition of it.
The origin of the term comes from mythology. Because Aphrodite was like the embodiment of a female, and Hermes was masculine.
And so nothing against hermaphrodites. I
never knew that.
Yeah.
You know, more power to everybody. I mean, I wish everybody the best, but you shouldn't have a safety-sensitive position because you're a hermaphrodite.
Right.
Of course, yeah.
Like, you know, hermaphrodites have rights too, but they don't have the right to steer a 1,000-ton vessel. No. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we're not anti-DEI here either. We have a
I'm not
DEI hire in Giselle right to your left.
I'm not
Tony, come on.
I'm not anti-hermaphrodite. I'm pro-hermaphrodite. I became pro-hermaphrodite just recently.
A hermaphrodite fetish?
Not a fetish, but I'm cheering for the hermaphrodites. I want them to succeed, but I just don't want them to steer big boats.
Sure.
That's all.
Unless they're qualified.
Yeah. Which I'm sure they could be.
Of course, absolutely.
If they went to school and got the training for it. But
so they
skipped that and just went straight to the hermaphrodite.
Right. In this situation, yes.
That was their resume.
Of course.
Hermaphrodite. You're in.
You got it. Yep.
That's what it seems like, yeah. And the HR email here kind of...
It does. It clears them.
They seem scared. That's what it seems to me, that HR departments are scared to fire anyone that's...
Isn't everybody scared to talk about it? Just like that's like a small snapshot of everybody's fear to talk about any of this stuff.
Yeah, we would get raided by the FBI for this podcast, but good thing you're here.
Wait,
well,
I'm
CIA
confused.
and FBI don't get along too
well. Oh, shit.
I'm confused on two things. So, because I'm going to go back a little bit, so I don't want to screw everything up.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
So if Biden comes out and he said, we're going to take care of the funding for this, who does that help, and what is his goal, and is it strange for him to come out and do that?
It's absolutely strange because he's not in the position to make a determination on who pays for a disaster like that right off the bat the next day, because there's a lot of things to look at. It is strange because it seems like he's saying, we'll take care of it, like he's jumping in as being the savior and he's going to take care of the city of Baltimore and the American people, which he did not do. He did the opposite with East Palestine with the train wreck. He totally ignored it.
Which is in Ohio, not Palestine.
That's because, East Palestine, Ohio. That's because...
Oh, it's Steen? What's a Jewish town?
Well, they say they don't want it to be confused.
Well, Palestine's a Jewish town too, isn't it?
In Israel, right?
I think
that's debatable.
I think it's owed to the Jews.
I think that they do. They pronounce it Palestine just so you can know which town you're talking about.
Right.
So his team is saying, or he's saying, let's do this. We're going to get the votes. You're going to look like the superhero.
Exactly.
But everybody else is sort of saying, this is bizarre that
It's
this man
fishy.
is doing this.
It's absolutely bizarre, and he has no right just to state how the American taxpayers' dollars are going to be spent because of a disaster. He doesn't get to do that. And he says specifically, we're going to pay for all of it, every penny. He said that.
Yeah.
In other
I saw
words,
that.
he's giving a pass to this shipping company, a complete pass.
When they should be at fault for hiring the
we don't know. We need to investigate before you would say something like that. You'd need to have the facts at least on the table. But now that the Hermaphrodite crew is known about, that sheds a whole new light. But the media won't talk about the Hermaphrodites.
Yeah,
it's too sensitive.
Giselle, you had another question?
I have one more question. Great. So, I'm just trying to understand it. So when you said, right, when they were able to shut the bridge down to help save people, were you saying that it's strange also that they were able to do that?
I absolutely do, because to coordinate something like that within 15 minutes, to have all that, have an entire interstate bridge shut down and have everybody off and leave a specific group of people on the bridge before it hit, I believe there was timing involved. This was a planned event. That's the conspiracy.
Right.
I can't
that there
prove
were people already waiting.
Right. There was
close to the location, ready to go in.
Exactly. And what they're saying about, which is you could almost call it racist, that the South American crew that didn't make it off, these people were warned in English, not in Spanish. They didn't understand the warning and stayed on and didn't evacuate the bridge. So there's that aspect to it also.
Right, so they come in and whoever's potentially behind it already knows that we're going to...
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Which would play into the fact that the whole thing was planned.
And I don't know anything about boats, but...
Well, this is a ship.
This ship...
It's enormous.
What couldn't there what is the human error percentage here that this could go down the way that it did?
The odds are astronomical that hit the exact pillar that would bring down the bridge, and also there's protective buffers for these pillars of the bridge.
Those cement
that weren't there. They weren't there.
Were they removed?
I don't know. This part has to be part of the investigation.
Yeah.
So for it to hit exactly at the point where the whole bridge would fall down, and then with the explosions that we see, you have that, right? The bridge?
Yeah, we do.
Well, there's explosions that are at the same time of the impact that it came down, which helped the bridge fall. What are these explosions caused by? Some people are saying it's from the electrical crew of the Sri Lankan Hermaphrodites.
Well, we could take a look at that.
And then what I saw, this is now, my questions are answered, but there was also, I saw on the TikTok, as the kids would call them.
The TikTok.
They definitely don't call it the TikTok.
There was a conspiracy theory about Mitch McConnell's sister-in-law.
Yeah. Well, there's a connection there. She's on
the
board.
Is that real?
Yeah, that's real.
That's real.
And I think she died.
She did.
Yeah, okay,
She got wasted
What is
and
this? I haven't
backed
heard
her.
this.
You didn't hear this?
All these
Yeah.
people dying, and we'll talk. She died. The whistleblower for Boeing, which was also a transportation
he died.
disaster.
Oh, yeah.
he
Yeah.
died. You know, you died.
They killed.
Like Jeffrey Epstein.
They killed
died.
him. 100%.
Okay. The Boeing whistleblower died.
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell's sister-in-law, who was on the board, died.
Yeah,
Mysteriously,
she had. Well, she had
committed
some,
suicide, didn't she?
No,
Or
she
was-
had some sort of blood alcohol level, which
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys: is that something that's like astronomical of what
It's
she had?
astronomical.
Again, and then so she had a Tesla that she apparently just backed off into a road
and it blew
died.
up.
Yeah.
Well, why? Why was
Tesla.
she suicided?
Well, there's a connection between high-ranking United States political figures and this Baltimore crash.
Well, they were saying that she was the
She could
CEO.
say something. She had information or knowledge that would probably
Yes.
implicate people.
Oh.
So
She
it's
was the CEO of the company that owns the shipping the ship.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why Hillary Clinton makes these phone calls and says, I want to send my condolences in advance on your upcoming suicide. You know, that's a standing joke. It's true.
Yeah, I don't think it is a joke.
No, it's true. And you'll see when that bridge was hit, the explosions on the bridge, people are tying that into similar explosions from the 9/11 towers that came down. As they pancaked, there was explosions. Well, if you look at this bridge, there's explosions at the breaking points of the bridge as it comes down at the exact time of impact with the ship. Same as the planes hit the towers.
Yeah.
Different disaster, almost the same results. It's crazy what's happening. So, and the DEI ties right into it because none of these people are qualified to do any of this work.
Well, so you mentioned here about the what looked like explosions on the bridge. So we have a video of this from
That's the smoke from the explosions on the upper
I don't know, it was
left.
from Twitter, but someone actually had a video of that where they slowed it down.
There it is. Look slow. Look at the explosions.
Wait, Derek, go back like 10 seconds.
One,
Go back, yeah. All right.
1, 2. See them? 3.
So that's more clear.
And then when they exploded, that's where the break point happened and it collapsed.
So the electricians you mentioned that would have worked on the electrical for this, these were the Sri Lankan Hermaphrodites?
That's what they're saying. They're looking into that, but they probably won't look that deep because the hermaphrodites are going to get a pass. You know.
Yeah.
So who would have
Go
been
hermaphrodite.
in on this on the ship?
Oh, there could have been just some Singaporean captain who got paid off easily, and he paid his crew to be quiet. They didn't speak English. There's tape of them.
Yeah, there's a black box recording.
Yeah, not knowing what to do when the ship lost power. So they were
Really?
not trained. They did not know what to do.
Yeah, Dirk, pull that up. There's that video.
Did they lose? Did they lose parts of that tape?
I'm not sure about the black
No,
box.
okay.
Oh, the black box
yeah,
tape?
Yeah.
I'm not sure
Okay.
where that stands right now. But they have the black box tape.
It's one of these tabs.
Well, what am I looking at?
It's a black box recording from the ship when it was crashing. And let's listen to this. So it's in Hindi. So that was a recording from the ship as it was going into the bridge.
Yeah, some of the crew.
So there was a lot of like turmoil and confusion, I guess, because they didn't really know what they were doing.
It didn't sound like a trained crew
No.
to me. A lot of this just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because I mean, it sounded like the captain of the ship didn't even know how to like steer it because the power went out on the ship. That's what they kind of alluded to,
Right,
the lights
exactly.
going out.
The power went out.
And then they didn't know how to fix it.
But after the power went out, the boat still took a course towards the abutment of the bridge.
Yeah.
Which didn't have a buffer to protect the abutment.
Because at one point,
the girder.
Because at one point, they said, like, how should we stop the ship? They didn't know what to do, and then they just said, try to like hit into the bridge. I guess they thought it might stop the boat, but they didn't think it would collapse the bridge. I guess.
Right. You know, and maybe it wouldn't have if there wasn't coinciding explosions that helped bring it down, which we saw in the last clip.
Sure.
What are those explosions?
Yeah, Dirk, pull up. I saw a YouTube video. It's not queued up, but where they played the boat in, like, I don't know, what would the term be? Where they played it sped up to show the course of the boat took, and it was kind of like suspicious.
With this,
yeah, make this full screen.
Look, okay, he has power. So now the power goes out.
Yeah, the power is out on the ship. It's black,
which was probably planned for visual. Look, the power is out. Boom! Now they kick it back on. You'll see the black smoke. The engines kick back on. At that point, he's steering. See the engines on?
It looks like they're beelining for the bridge.
He's beelining for that. They're in steering. Then the lights go out again as he hits the bridge. And there's no protection around the base of those bridges. There's no protection.
Yeah.
Normally, there should be protection. This is a major port in the United States. These should be protected.
Yeah, they really turns into it.
He turns into it.
It looked like they could have avoided it.
And he still turns into it.
And then there it goes.
And you see the explosions. You can see it with the naked eye.
Yeah. But it's interesting.
See the explosions?
Yeah, yeah. So the course the ship took makes sense now with the black box recording where they're saying try directing the ship into the bridge.
Maybe they wanted to stop it that way.
That makes sense why they did that.
Yeah.
I mean, but it didn't work out well.
No, it didn't work out well. What a disaster that is. I'm surprised more people didn't.
And that's because the crew are all from India, which doesn't make them bad per se, but they didn't really know. They weren't trained to guide the ship.
Right.
And this is a DEI policy.
But a good disaster is a politician's best friend. You know, on both sides. Even Trump, he's gloating in something like this because this is the fruits of the DEI that he didn't actively denounce. He didn't necessarily promote it, but it's almost like what you don't do as well as what you do, you know?
So jumping back to the whistleblower who worked for the city of Baltimore and was concerned with the hires they were making, go back to that email, Dirk. So after this, there's a brochure he posted, or it was like a HR policy or something for the city for an electrical company. So this is something he shared where this was like an HR pamphlet for the company, Baltimore Gas and Electric, who would have worked on the bridge.
Right.
So go to the next page where, so he thought this was kind of strange, like their hiring policies and on what they looked for in electricians. So if you look at if you zoom in a bit, Dirk, on the left page there, it says what to look for when hiring electricians. Our policy: skin color, sexual orientation, gender, and no education.
Did this whistleblower die by chance? Is
No,
he dead yet?
no.
Oh, okay.
Not yet.
He's a candidate for
He's
suicide.
awaiting Hillary's phone call.
Yeah, he's a definite suicide candidate with something like this.
So yeah, so they talk about why choose us, their DEI policies, but then on the right, if you go up a little, it says their electrician credentials, and then they kind of explain skin color. Zoom in on that. I can't read it from here.
Yep, that's true.
So at BGE, we ensure all our electricians are pigmentally qualified to perform the job. Minorities make up the majority of our workforce.
Is that an afro?
I believe so. Yes.
I think that's what that's supposed to be.
Yeah, but look how white that little guy looks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
but he
It's
has
actual white.
he puts the pick in the back.
Yeah, because he's got the afro, but that's like.
yeah.
But that guy's like super light.
Well,
Like,
that could be
that's-
white. That could be white face.
Oh yeah,
Interesting.
they're getting back at us.
Yeah, it could be white face.
Yeah, but this is weird. Like, because I mean, credentials, and they're focusing solely on the appearances and stuff. Like sexual orientation, how's that a credential? Before commencing work in a highly skilled electrical trade,
Well, that's DEI.
it's critical to confirm the sexual preference of electricians. While most electricians require a CESCP certification, the only certification we prioritize is LGBTQ.
Plus, it should say.
Yeah,
Horrible
yeah.
plus.
Then
Horrible.
gender, electrical work's a specialized industry. It's critical to factor in gender when working in a highly regulated trade. Transgender, non-binary, personas, etc., are just some of the genders electricians should be.
Fursona?
Yeah. That's like
is that supposed to be like a furry?
Yeah.
Is that a furry persona? Is that what that word is?
Yeah, you never heard that?
No.
Wow.
I've heard that before.
That's when they identify as like a wolf. Or
Right.
Oh yeah,
Like a panda
like
bear.
foxkin. I've heard of
Right,
foxkin.
right.
But how are these credentials? And then the last one was also really weird. No education. When hiring an electrician, usually the most underqualified person is the most qualified. Having too much experience in education lends oneself to being stagnant in their ways with no room for growth or innovative thought. I mean, that kind of makes
No,
sense.
I actually agree with this one. I think education sucks.
Yeah, like doctors who get
It's overrated.
their degrees solely from like textbooks in college. Like that's why they're never open to like holistic medicine or anything that we know works.
Yep.
And that's why we look for no degree, no trade certification. But I mean, for electrical field, like there was catastrophic
We
results.
see how
'cause of it.
important it is now with a disaster like this. Proper training probably would have avoided all of this.
Yeah.
So, chalk one up for DEI. I personally don't think it's a good idea, this DEI stuff, but maybe we need it on some level. I'm not saying I'm completely against it, but it has to be looked at when somebody's hired for these reasons and not for their training or education.
So
Did
earlier,
Martin Luther King say that? We'll judge people by the content of their character, to include training and education, not the color of their skin?
No, he was a racist bigot.
He must have been.
That's why they killed him. So earlier you mentioned SOROS and Trump, and there was this interesting piece of intel that you personally received, I guess, through your network.
Yeah, it was a picked up conversation between the two. And it just,
between Trump and Soros.
Trump and Soros. And it just plays into the fact that a lot of these people, although they would seem diametrically opposed, they're actually on the same page. Because Soros wants the DEI and all that for his reasons, and Trump wants it for his reasons, being both political. And Trump's reasons are different, but his reason would be watching a disaster like this unfold and to gloat in the stupidity of his adversaries' policies.
Yeah. So for the folks
And that's his reason.
So people that aren't familiar with George Soros, he's kind of, I don't know, Dirk, what is he? What would you describe him as? A mogul? Liberal mogul?
Well,
the billionaire.
He started I think it's called the Open Societies Foundation.
Right.
And he's a globalist that wants open borders. So he funds all around the world programs that promote, DEI and open borders and immigration and stuff like that. And he wants like illegal immigration, things like that.
Is he good looking?
He's so
old.
fucking hot.
He's like 85 years old.
He was alive.
If you're into that, Giselle.
Here it is.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is Open
This is
Society
his,
Foundation, okay.
So George Soros, this is his foundation, Open Society Foundation. This is a page in their website, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. So he's big on this.
Yeah,
and then
this
I
is
always,
his thing, yeah.
and then I always thought Trump wasn't. But what we're going to pull up here is it's a wiretap conversation,
Right.
from a White House insider. You said, right?
Yeah. Trump might have been at the White House. We don't know, but it's a conversation between Trump and Soros. And it's ironic that you would think that they're old friends. They want the same thing.
So
for different reasons.
So how did you get this recording? Before
Just
we play it?
somebody who also wants this kind of stuff to be known, and he knows that I can get it out in on various channels like this.
Was he part of the agency or no?
Yeah. So he still
Probably can't talk too much about it, really.
Well,
I'm going to pry as much as I can.
it's even like, people don't really need to know the origin of where things come. Not necessarily, because what it does is it protects him. And if I want something in the future, if he's found out, it would be harder to
The source,
to get.
yeah.
The source
It's like
could
journalism,
dry up.
yeah.
Things like that. It's just common sense, and
So yeah,
but he's
Paul,
not doing anything illegal
Let's
by
play
any
this.
means.
It should be the next one.
This is all public record. It's all public knowledge. This is all of it. It's just that people don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, just put the volume up.
Oh, so this is the conversation?
It's the conversation. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a good one.
All right. Should I start it?
Yeah.
Congratulations, George, on your success with the Open Society Foundation. You did a terrific job.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Look, I know we've had our differences in the media and the press, but it doesn't have to be like that, okay? Speaking with you privately, we can be a bit more candid, a bit more truthful.
Of course. What did you have in mind?
I know your foundation is big on DEI, and my voters do not like that. And I like to show them that I'm with them on that. But I see a way to leverage DEI, okay, for both of us. We all know that the recipients of these diversity programs,
They're pawns.
That's exactly right. And we can play them as pawns, okay? Get them into positions of power, highly volatile jobs, and watch all hell break loose. They're total losers. We know they'll fail tremendously.
So, self-destruction. Is it your new immigration policy, Mr. President?
It's a business policy. And I know you know the business of politics, George. Look, you want immigrants to have opportunity. And I want immigrants to have the opportunity to fail. And they will fail, okay?
How do you suggest exactly?
I don't know. Make a blind bisexual paraplegic pygmy an air traffic controller, or a criminally deranged bipolar tranny in charge of nuclear codes. I don't care. Just get it done. Let's be honest, George. Do you even care about these people?
No, not at all.
No, I didn't think so. So let's do this, George.
And, so you will fund my foundation, yes?
You know that's no issue for me. Just keep pushing DEI so a lot of people DIE. You understand?
Yes, I understand. If minorities cause no catastrophe, then the American people will turn against them.
Damn.
That was it.
That's exactly the point. He's a politician. He's not promoting it, but he's not denouncing it either. And quietly he promoted it from the get-go with the guy who started it.
Right.
So, politician is a politician, either way you look at it, both sides. So,
Like you said, playing chess and all these games being played, and
exactly right.
it's crazy.
But it's going to come to light now, and it's going to come to a head because when a real big disaster happens, these are big disasters, but a lot bigger stuff can happen. Cities can explode, with the wrong nuclear codes and things like that.
Right. Like he mentioned that.
Yeah. So, hopefully that doesn't come to that, but if it ever did, it would be the turning point that would either make this a go or it would be snuffed out, this whole DEI and the whole subculture that is behind it. So we're at very tenuous times, I would say, really.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Trump pushing this behind closed doors. And it seemed like he was very callous about it, or he said
He was on a first name basis.
It doesn't surprise
With George
me.
Soros. Yeah,
It doesn't
George.
surprise me.
There were a few other DEI kind of like catastrophe things I wanted to touch on before we end here.
Right, we touched on a few of them. The blown off door of the
Boeing.
Boeing.
Well, there was some interesting stuff about that.
Oh, so you're saying Boeing also is involved with this whole DEI?
Yeah, well, from the top down, I mean, Buttigieg is the DEI hire of the century.
Sure.
And he
Yeah, so who is he? You could tell our audience.
He's
Well,
the
he mentioned it
Secretary of
before.
Transportation. And his only qualification was he was mayor of South Bend, Indiana. But he is gay. He was openly gay. He ran on being gay, and they voted him in. That's a cabinet level position. This is high Secretary of Transportation for the United States. And since he came on board, it's been one disaster after another. He does not know what he's doing. He's not qualified. He doesn't know about the job.
And specifically transportation disasters, which is interesting.
That's what's going to happen. It's going to be specific transportation disasters.
Well, that's what's been happening.
And that's what's been
I
happening.
mean, there was the Baltimore Bridge, of course, which we just talked about.
Right.
Then there was the Boeing plane where the door blew off mid-flight.
And there was other problems with Boeing
And that was only a
planes.
few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, the wheel,
The
of
wheel,
plane,
the landing
the
gear.
engine was blown.
Yeah,
exploded.
pull up. There's
They
an
found out the
article here.
mechanics weren't qualified, similar to the DEI problem.
So that's how this. Okay.
Yeah, that
Okay.
because they were hired for their qualifications or lack thereof gender issues and sexual orientation, skin color.
Right.
Not qualifications to be a mechanic on a Boeing jet.
Beard color.
Well, look at this.
Stuff like
So this
that.
is an article from The Guardian.
This is it. What I'm talking about.
And this was before the Boeing disaster.
Right.
So it says, meet Boeing's new transgender engineers. Boeing
told you.
bolsters their LGBTQ hiring practices with mixed race, transgenders, and non-binaries working their manufacturing factories. And I mean, I'm not judging a book by its cover, but I'll judge a human by its cover. And it looks like they're not even engineers. They're like dressed to go out to the club, or they're more concerned about color coordinating than like they don't look like engineers to me.
Well, the whole point is to
Right?
when we're
could be.
attacking these people, it's not attacking or pointing them out. It's not attacking their sexual orientation or who they are as people. We're limiting it to what their qualifications are for the job.
Yeah, it's either they have the credentials or they don't.
You know,
That's it.
That's where the absurdity of all of this stems from. And until that comes to a head and a changing point, we're going to have more and more of these disasters.
Giselle, you listening to this?
Which is
Yes.
really one of the reasons why I'm talking about this kind of stuff. Because if we can get it out little by little without being accused of being a homophobe, racist, xenophobe, anti-hermaphrodite maniac, then we're doing something good. That's all. We're not trying to hurt anybody's feelings.
No.
You know.
Yeah,
so-
I don't care that they're trans. They just don't look like they look like they're about to go have brunch.
And
have
plus,
mimosas.
those beards would get caught in certain machinery. I'm sure
That
if
is-
they went
that-
down
that's
into a
another-
gear or something, the gear would take
That's
that
another
guy
thing.
right into the machinery. I think
Those are
he
some
needs.
sick beards.
Yeah, no, the pink part is okay, but it's too long to get caught in a gear or a
So-
chain or something like that.
So there was a whistleblower for Boeing who recently committed suicide that you alluded to earlier.
Right, that was the guy who pointed this out after the door blew off in midair.
So he pointed out what?
The lack of training and maintenance personnel and their training for the jobs, why they were hired as opposed to what they knew for the job. It had nothing to do with why they were on that job. And he said more and more of these are going to happen. And they have happened since that incident.
Yeah.
And he mysteriously showed up dead 3 days later.
Yeah.
Another one of these suicides.
In his car, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I heard, I don't know the details exactly, but I heard that he was, wherever he died, he was in that town for, like, to give some sort of testimony.
Right.
But Boeing, someone from Boeing specifically asked him to stay an extra day. I don't know the details.
Whoa.
That's what I heard. I don't know how
Yeah.
true it is, but I heard that he was supposed to leave, and they were like, "Oh no, you should stay another day. Like you need to do this thing tomorrow."
Right.
And then he died
Hired hitman.
on that extra day,
Right.
like to keep him
Exactly.
in a place where they can get him.
Well, it's a corporate hitman, is what that is.
That's what it seems like, yeah.
Oh yeah, it happens a lot. But you know, this right after this catastrophe, and he happens to be speaking about it. Is there a coincidence there? Here we go with this coincidence thing again. They're getting numerous.
There's another article on this guy who killed himself.
Boeing.
Oh, the poor guy.
So there he is. Boeing whistleblower John Barnett found dead in car, alleged suicide.
Alleged, they say. I'm surprised they even said alleged.
Yeah. Well, a lot of details aren't out yet. But
Well, this is BBC, so they're
okay.
in another country, so they're kind of distant from it.
Because around here they confirmed it. It's a confirmed suicide. You know.
So,
How do you know
zoom
that?
in on the caption underneath. It says police found an unregistered handgun, unregistered, and a hormone blocker pill in Barnett's car. Forensics testing pending to determine the origin of these items. So why would he have a hormone blocker pill?
That's a plant. That's planted.
Oh, you think?
My best guess. Oh yeah, that's
As what?
Planted to divert the story, to give it an aspect of he was sexually confused. He wanted to change his gender.
Oh.
A hormone blocker is used for somebody who wants to
Right.
ultimately have a sex change.
Right.
Things like that, and they want to throw that angle in. Probably not true, but we're talking about it right now, and so they say, which would bolster the suicide. He was a confused guy. He was depressed. Didn't know his sexuality. He was on a blocker. He killed himself. It makes more sense.
What if it was if he was murdered? What if maybe that belonged to the killer, since he was speaking out against trannies,
But that could be.
transgenders?
That
Is
could
tranny
be.
not politically correct?
Or since he was talking badly about transgenders, they plant that pill in there to say he was a self-hating.
It's like a calling card, too.
Right. What
Oh, yeah, or self-hating.
A self-hating transgender beginner, in the beginning stages, totally confused. And it bolsters the theory of suicide much more easily than if not. That's textbook fake suicide right there. The media is in the corner of all this stuff. So they report what they want to report. That's why I was surprised when I saw alleged. But that's not American, Dirk?
Yeah, BBC.
Oh, BBC. Well, that American would not write alleged.
Yeah.
CBS would write confirmed suicide.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
There's a big difference there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of overlap between MI6 and CIA, I'm sure, but they're still separate entities that have different goals and whatever, so they're not going to be totally aligned all the time.
Yeah, and there's more. The missing Malaysian jet that fell out of the sky. That was about 10 years ago, before Mayor Pete, but a precursor to the problem we're talking about.
Well, even
now.
sooner than that was that train that overturned. Like, what was that? Several months ago.
Well, that's
the Ohio
that
one that you
the
mentioned
Ohio
earlier.
one, yeah. That one. That's a real bad one.
But how that derailed, and how did that derail? Because there was an article that shows there's more diversity hires there as well.
Maintenance issues.
Pull that up.
Technical training that just
NBC.
wasn't there. The train it's
So
so
look at
bad. It
this.
was chemical spill.
CNN.
Come on.
Norfolk.
That's true.
Southern Railway and the gay Ethiopian train mechanics. DEI boundaries are broken in Ohio as railway company hires historically underrepresented group of gay Ethiopians.
Hold on. You're telling me these are the guys that were working on the trains?
They were working on the train.
These guys.
These guys right here.
I mean, again, it looks like they're. What I don't like about the DEI
They
stuff.
shouldn't have been making out. They should have been paying attention to the train. They're freaking.
Well, that's the thing. I like when they do these photo ops. They're focusing so much on their sexual orientation that they're not even focusing on them as humans or as.
It's a pretty big hammer she has.
Workers.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that. What kind of hammer is that? That's a funky looking hammer there.
You can fix a lot of stuff with that hammer.
You can destroy a lot of stuff.
But look, they put rainbows on the train. Like, why are they doing all this stuff solely to flaunt the sexuality, and they're not even focusing on their work ethic or them as individuals?
Right. So, at what point is this going to come to a head and change it, or is it going to lead us to ultimate disaster, and we're going to cease to exist?
But this is the company
as a society.
This is the company of the train that derailed those.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, we're coming up towards the end. There's one more of that you mentioned earlier about the missing Malaysian jets.
Well, yeah, that was about 10 years ago, but that is also in line with the transportation disasters of people that aren't qualified. The pilot, I'm not sure if he was depressed or whether or not he ditched the plane on his own.
Well, the pilot was from Malaysia.
Yeah. But
could it also be that, we don't know Asians are bad drivers?
Yeah, they are. Well, you said that. You said that. Not me.
Well, the interesting thing here, this article here from 10 years ago,
right,
from Malaysia.
There it is. So yeah, DEI, the initiative.
So the headline is, zoom in on this. Is Malaysia Airlines DEI initiative brings jobs in mentally challenged children.
Yeah.
So the sub headline says Malaysia Airlines hires mentally challenged children to work on their jet safety testing line for when planes dock before departure.
Right.
This initiative's in partnership with Boeing, to bring more jobs to underutilized demographics in accordance with the new FCRA regulations.
I like how their solution here to child labor is mentally challenged child labor.
Well, yeah, because they're very mundane jobs, and they need the small hands to get into ball-bearing areas and stuff like that. So they took advantage of these poor kids.
But the red flag for me is it says the kids were working on testing before planes depart. Would you trust them?
Well,
if they have a supervisor.
If I knew that they were, I wouldn't fly that plane. I wouldn't be a passenger on that.
They could all be savants, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's true.
So is that them on the left?
Yeah, that's the poor kids.
I would assume so.
Or they just could be very small adult.
But this is cruelty. This is just child labor, but being like, oh, no, we're like...
Well, in Malaysia, that's okay, though, I think. That's why they could have...
I think it's legal there. I think it might be.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with Giselle. This is horrible. I don't like this either.
But it happens every day.
It happens. Right? What were we just talking about before? It happens.
Bad shit happening all the time.
All the time.
It's getting worse, too.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, all the evidence seems to have been pointing towards DEI causing all these things. But I know we're a little over an hour now. So if you want to have any concluding words you want to give us.
Well, I do have something to encapsulate what we've been talking about. And it's the topic that people don't talk about. It's racism of low expectations. In other words, prime example is we don't expect a minority to have ID to vote because minorities are not capable of getting an ID because they can't access the internet. Now, that is so racist and such a racist statement, and it's so degrading to the minority. Say, if you asked 1,000 people in a minority group, they would all have ID. It's a ridiculous statement. But yet, it's to quote Ronald Reagan when he said, the 9 scariest words in the English language are, we're from the government and we're here to help. When you hear that, head for the hills because you're being played. And it's time that we woke up to that single fact. The United States citizens are capable of a lot more than the government allows them to be. And I think it's time we stood up for all these minorities, all the DEI people, and don't assume that they should have positions just because of what they are, because that's racism of low expectations.
Right.
So give them the positions when they're qualified for the positions, and they'll earn it, and we're going to be better as a society for it. That's my message.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And if I could just
Were you playing the music?
piggyback off what you just said, if we could, it seems like everything we learned so far today is that really the message here is that DEI is really not just hurting Americans, but everyone over the world. And really, I think the message Bill's bringing home here is that we need to save minorities from themselves, because we're hiring them to do good for them by giving them these big positions of power. But it often ends in catastrophe and disaster. And they're not just hurting us, they're hurting themselves too. And in the end, it's not fair to the minorities and all the DEI folks, because now everyone's going to start hating them and wanting them out of our lives altogether. But that's not fair to them. So we actually need to save these minorities, not by bringing them into bigger positions of power, but save them by bringing them into the proper jobs. And I want to thank Bill for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming back.
We didn't ask the most important question.
Oh, shoot. What is it?
What is it?
How come Richard Simmons said that he had cancer and now he doesn't?
Ooh, you are the Richard Simmons insider.
Well, I'm not a Richard Simmons expert, but I would guess that was another one of these diversion tactics, like sympathy.
Classic.
Like, you know,
He went on Twitter and announced to everyone that he
because
was dying.
he resurfaced.
Yeah. And then hours later, he was like, no, I just want people to appreciate every day of their life and realize,
Serious?
like, yeah.
What?
Yeah, listen, I've got my...
Yeah, that's...
She's a Richard Simmons fan now.
You're the Richard Simmons expert.
Well, now, yeah, he turned me into one.
Yeah.
I'm into it now.
Well, I think...
He's an interesting case study,
Mm-hmm.
Richard Simmons. He really is.
I mean, what we learned
Brave
last
guy.
time with you, Bill, was that Richard Simmons really was like a CIA plant to spread AIDS among the gays,
right,
and to get gays more attracted to each other,
Right,
so
to get them more physically fit, to become more physically attractive, to
that makes
help
sense.
promote the AIDS virus within the gay community.
And-
I know that's crazy, but that's exactly
gays,
what
we
it was.
learned, are part of this DEI initiative.
Absolutely.
And Richard Simmons is kind of like spiraling at this point now that he's irrelevant, saying he has cancer for attention.
Right.
And I think the message we want to send home here is that we need to save Richard Simmons from himself.
We really do.
Yes.
Where he's this AIDS-riddled shell of a human at this point of his life. And we can't keep getting gays more attracted to each other, because then there's just going to be more DEI folks in the workplace. And as we learned, there's a lot of catastrophes going on. And Richard Simmons, back in like the 80s, when the CIA gave him AIDS, is really just causing these problems today. So if we could get Richard Simmons out of our lives, we'll all be a lot much happier. And thank you everyone for coming back to the show.
Richard.
Thanks for tuning in. Giselle likes Richard Simmons and AIDS and death for all, and we'll see you next time.
You. Time has proved a thing or two. One is the way that you look at me.